I remember when the Suicide Squad came out and they announced this show, and I was like, really? That guy? We're going to do a show about Peacemaker? We didn't review it at the time, and revisiting this a few years later, it's a very unconventional show. This kind of style has become more and more prevalent, but for a mainline comic book universe to do something like this, what a strange thing, but also I think this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's an insanely fun show. It's so weird when you look back for the Suicide Squad. I have watched it for many years, many yonders, but I was also surprised about how John Cena is returning as Peacemaker. We don't know much about the character. James Gunn wrote the script just out of pure boredom in quarantine, just like he
Mm.
was just thinking, this show's not going to get picked up. I'm just going to write this for fun. You can definitely tell in this show that he was not afraid to pull his punches. This is definitely a dark comedy. But yeah, definitely things have changed since the Suicide Squad to Superman. There was that creative passion for DC to have something fun and inventive. You can definitely see that in this show. I would say this is the very foundation of the DCU right there. This is
Mm.
something that is going to directly go into this world that James is building right in front of us. This was a fun show.
Yeah, I think this and the Suicide Squad, which I did rewatch and is even better than I remembered. I think that you're right, they do become the foundation. But it's interesting that, I don't know if you remember, but both Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods featured characters from this show. So Amelia Harcourt was in both Shazam and Black Adam, and John Economos was with her in Shazam. What a strange era that we were in, where it was building up towards, I don't know, something, and Suicide Squad, Peacemaker supporting characters are kind of cropping up. They really were really trying, even to the bitter end. The DCEU was really going for it.
Yeah, it was crumbling around Peacemaker. You
Yeah.
can definitely tell. It's just like still trying to keep going. Like we need to keep going with this.
They were all running for the portal as the DCU crumbled around them, and only Peacemaker somehow. We will talk about that, I think, a little bit later, Peacemaker being this kind of holdover, but I do think it's incredibly interesting. And around the same time, we also got the Batman.
Oh my
You
God,
know,
yeah.
yeah, like March 2022. What a time we were having as DC fans, and now returning to it. I think it's a miracle that this show even got to season 2 with the creative overhaul. So I don't really know. I wish I had a better way to transition out of this opening segment into our theme song. I'm sorry, we don't have John Cena dancing. We
Yeah, we
don't.
know, we don't.
We can't
Nothing
do
beats
that.
that.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
What a great opening. I love that. Gunn, again, he loves music. You can definitely
Yeah.
tell. Whenever he hears a song, he's like, yes, I must put that into a movie or
This just gave me an amazing idea.
a full-on blood battle.
I like to think James Gunn, he wakes up in the morning, he puts some music on, and he's like making his breakfast, and he realizes that he's cutting bread to the beat, and he's like, hold on, this is incredible. And he begins to kind of map it all out. It's a simple thing. The opening of this show is a very good microcosm for the entire thing. It's
Yeah.
incredibly zany and goofy, but everyone's locked in. It feels like everyone in this show totally believe the absurdity. You don't get a lot of like, well, that's a bit silly. You get a lot of intense arguments where
Yeah.
we see just how stupid, Peacemaker might roll off 100 different names of famous people during that argument with Economos. The whole thing is ridiculous, but we're treating the characters seriously enough that we are expected to invest in them. And I do think we do invest. This is all written by James Gunn, so we have 8 episodes to explore a character who he didn't really get any kind of arc in the Suicide Squad. He is like the only of the main troupe. Him and maybe Harley Quinn are the two who they don't really have development as characters. And so, as much as I think to myself, well, I would have loved to see a Bloodsport show or a Ratcatcher show or the continuing adventures of King Shark. That right there is like a King Shark teaches the alphabet. Like I'm
Bird.
in. Yeah, exactly. I do think that kind of actually it makes sense that for all of the characters in that movie, the one that you would want to follow, I think, would be Peacemaker.
I'd say it's very surprising because I thought they were going to go Deadpool with this, like full on Deadpool. He's an anti-hero, he kills people, and I thought it's just going to be a comedy. But I was totally surprised how much depth there was into this character. He is fully motivated of the idea of peace, and you would do whatever to have that. He's obviously called Peacemaker with a stupid hat or the mask on with that, but it's kind of cool as well. But it's like this ridiculous costume that he wears. It's goofy. It's just hyper realistic, zany world that we're seeing, but also the characters are self-aware, just trash talking superheroes about Superman and Aquaman. But going back to Peacemaker, there is this deep emotional turmoil that he goes through, and there is this nice arc that he understands there is more to life than being this dick. There's this group of people that he's with that absolutely hate his ass. He's just being so arrogant and stupid at the same time. He's also friends with this guy called Vigilante, who's also insane, just batshit insane. It's so funny, but I'm just glad that we have that emotional journey with the conflict of family, what his purpose is as a hero and understanding what it means to be a hero, and also how can you find peace in this world? How can you mend it?
Yeah, I like the idea that in various comic book media, we examine the fact that some superheroes or villains are just nut jobs who are let loose in a costume, and that's very much Vigilante. And in many ways, that's very much Peacemaker as well. They are kind of insane, and they have these just bizarre beliefs and systems that they follow. But yeah, as you said, we unpack a lot of depth in them. Leading up to season 2, DC have been doing this rewatch podcast of season 1. James Gunn, Jennifer Holland, Steve Agee, and various guests. And the really interesting thing, so I was listening to episode 1 this morning, and the interesting thing that James Gunn said was that to him, this show is at its core about Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, and Adebayo. I think that's a very interesting perspective, because I would agree. I think that those two, John Cena, Danielle Brooks, are at the heart of this show. It's probably worth saying what this show is actually about.
Oh, yeah.
After the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, he isn't taken back to prison. He's put on another mission called Project Butterfly, where this unlikely team of people, we've got Economos, Harcourt, Adebayo, Myrn, they team up with Peacemaker to try and stop this something that is initially a mystery. And everyone kind of hates each other. Everyone kind of finds everyone else really insufferable. Adebayo takes the role of the new girl, and Harcourt is very tough, no nonsense, as is Myrn, who is the leader of the group. And then Economos is just this lonely guy who doesn't really have any friends and is always kind of on the back foot a little bit of Peacemaker, who just kind of bullies everyone. And Vigilante comes along and adds his own little madness and insanity to the whole thing. And at this core, this show is about a bunch of unlikely people making friends. Surprise, it's a James Gunn show.
Oh my God.
He loves
the value of
about
friendship.
that kind of
Oh
thing.
my
Whoa!
God. We're learning something here, lads. Yeah, it's unlikely bunch. And there's this sweet moment where Harcourt just has this moment of smiling and looking at these crazy guys laughing and having fun and listening to music, and she takes a picture and makes a group chat. That's really sweet. Just again, these are crazy people, but it's like this emotional connection that you have where everybody's just making friends and just doing some crazy things. Again, it's just so funny just to think about the absurdity of the show and then what they've been through in that episode. The comedy is great as well. It kept me going throughout the show. There was just some insane bits and you just kind of accept it, like, oh, okay, cool. And then the show also brings in concepts about this alien race. We call them butterflies. We don't know what the race is called.
I don't think we ever find out, do we?
No. So butterflies, they want to kind of take over Earth, but look after it at the same time. That's what they want to do. They're just these bug-like creatures. And also we got the insane reality for the show, but also it's kind of grounded as well for, to understand about Peacemaker. But they do at the same time to see, okay, cool, we accept that Batmite is here.
Oh yeah, they mentioned Batmite. I'm not sure if that's still canon, because James Gunn has been clarifying, what is and what isn't canon from the show. But just the idea that they mentioned Batmite is incredibly cool.
I was so surprised because he's the most powerful DC character there is. I found out recently that the most powerful DC Comics character is actually called the writer, and it's just Grant Morrison.
Oh,
well,
Grant Morrison. Of course it is. Of course it bloody is. The cool thing, I think, is that this show, obviously it's on a TV budget, and there is a notable difference between it and the Suicide Squad, for instance. But it doesn't look bad at all. The effects are well integrated integrated. And even when it's a show, and obviously we're not going to go cosmic, you can do some interesting, more sci-fi elements like aliens and like the different helmets and like the sonic boom and stuff like that we can have.
Human torpedo as well. We cannot forget that. The human torpedo.
Yeah,
Great.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Anti-gravity as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are so many different helmet powers. I wonder what we're going to get in season 2. Surely we're going to get more. But I'm thinking about the next show for DC after Peacemaker season 2 is Lanterns, and that's not going to be set in space, Green Lanterns flying around.
Space!
Yet. But...
I'm sorry, everybody. I just got really
He had to do it. It had to
be.
be done. I'm not worried about Lanterns, basically. I know a lot of people are worried it's going to be like, oh, just grounded and boring and not embracing it. But I think this show shows that you can do the more wacky elements while being still a fairly grounded tone. This show,
for sure,
like, we spent a lot of the show just like in an abandoned shop that has nothing but a piano and a few tables in it, and yet we can also have a massive sequence in a cave with a huge alien cow. Spoiler territory will be reached here. I mean, the show's been out for 3 years, so
I think people will be like, "What? How could you? John Cena plays
cow?
the piano?"
I'll tell you what, that scene where he plays the piano is beautiful. There are some really nice scenes where we just, because coming out of the Suicide Squad, we all kind of just hate Peacemaker because he's an asshole. He killed Rick Flag and we all hate him for it because somehow Rick Flag is a character that I like now. Who knew? And I just love this idea that Peacemaker hates himself just as much as we hate him. And he is actually a very troubled guy and carries a lot of weight from his father. Going back to what I'm saying about Peacemaker and Adebayo being besties, their two characters has a lot of similarities in the way that they interact with their parents, where their parents kind of have used them in the past and in the present. For those two to become friends, there are so many lovely scenes where they bond and eventually find a common understanding. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. The final montage of the show is everyone settling down to stuff and seeing that everyone is still ultimately alone, but they've got a couple of buddies who kind of get it. I love that stuff.
It's great. Linking back to Peacemaker about this emotional weight that he carries from the death of his brother that he accidentally killed in a fight. Also that connection with his father, who is family to him. It's that last one thing that he has to recognize that he has a family, and this father is just racist, just blatantly racist, and also the White Dragon as well. Again, it's just like, how can you love someone who is just completely racist and also just doesn't respect human life and disregard his son? It's just heartbreaking. Peacemaker kills his dad. He's searching for that peace, but it still haunts him. It gets very deep.
Which is so surprising. Like, that's an unusual thing to do for your character who, in the Suicide Squad, is very much comedic relief and then a villain. Then to create this really sympathetic guy. James Gunn loves to do a family dynamic. And so to have him struggle with the love that he has for his father while he also hates him. And there's this brilliant line where his dad says, "You're a piece of shit." And Peacemaker says, "I am a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit for listening to you all those years. And I'm a piece of shit for not killing you in your sleep." And the struggle, and even the fact that after his father is dead, he has visions of him. The ways that our parents treat us and raise us, our parents fuck us up, and that's just the reality of it. And the stuff they say will stay with us long after they're gone. And I think that's a really interesting way to explore that. It's so very unexpected, but I do think it works really, really well. There's this idea of being the best version of yourself, which works well with a body snatching narrative.
Yes.
There's the reveal that Mern this whole time has been a butterfly, has been possessed by a butterfly. And he says, "The body that I have inhabited was an awful man, but there was room to change. And I'm kind of inhabiting that change, even though I'm an alien." And Peacemaker is also going through that change himself. Like, he says he doesn't really want to kill anymore. And that final murder of Rick Flag massively messed him up. These are all things that I would have never wanted. And if you'd have said to me, "What do you want, Tom? Do you want the Flash movie or do you want Peacemaker?" And I would be like, that's a very silly question, isn't it? I want The Flash. And The Flash was a film that I wasn't a fan of at all. And Peacemaker, I have actually ended up really enjoying. And I don't mean to needlessly shit on The Flash, but even stuff that's really unexpected can be absolutely brilliant.
I totally agree. It's just that emotional connection that we have, with Peacemaker. It's just like, we don't know who this character is, and we just go on this really sad journey. It explores that Peacemaker and for peace, with guns and American yeehaw. I don't know, but
yeah.
I'm sorry for all the Americans out there, but
I've been watching Horrible Histories recently because the inspiration struck, I guess.
Great.
And in season 2, they introduce Awesome USA, and you watch it and you just kind of like, huh,
Okay.
Interesting thing for
interesting.
because it's like what's like 2010 or whatever. It's like I don't know if the attitude would be quite the
Yeah.
same. Again, no offense to any Americans listening. Don't worry, the UK also sucks. We are
Yeah, the UK
we're all
sucks.
the worst.
Oh my God, the law! We have the crazy law that we have right now. Yay! Anyway, that American masculinity way that this show explores, because Peacemaker always been searching for who he wants to be. You see that in the first episode. He just wants to be free, and he has a pet eagle. That's the thing that we haven't talked about. He has a pet eagle called
What?
Eagly,
Eagles from the comics?
and it's just so stupid, but it just fits into this like American patriotism that he's obviously bought into, and he realizes that might not suit him. He finds something else in that crew of people that obviously hate each other, but they start to grow this connection with each other, and it's great. I love that. It's just that great thing. And then the thing we have Judo Master as well. Judo Master.
Yeah.
I thought he died halfway, but somehow he came back.
Every episode is like somehow Judo Master returned, and he just comes in just as a massive kick. I love he's a character who is totally absurd. His costume is stupid. His name is stupid. He's eating Cheetos the whole time, and
Yeah.
he just loves coming into a room and kicking people.
And he's smaller than John Cena as well.
Yeah,
but
like
also
he's
just has this
tiny.
incredible strength. And it's just
Yeah.
okay, great. We can
Yeah.
see this crazy fight, and then he just gets killed halfway through.
Yeah.
By Adebayo. He's like, oh, I was gonna finish that fight.
Did you die? Yes. But I lived. I love him as a concept, but also the final thing that we see from him is him crying because he realizes that maybe this planet really is doomed. The butterfly
Is
their
he
whole
a
argument.
butterfly?
No, because he's eating the Cheetos.
Oh yeah, he's eating the Cheetos.
And they don't eat that, yeah. But that would have, I mean,
But
yeah,
what if, the food they eat, what
Oh,
if
it's like dipped.
flavored? Yeah, what if
Okay.
it's flavored Cheetos?
He's coming up with theories now. We're going to get James Gunn on here to tell us that we're full of shit. The butterflies actually have a really good point, though, about the fact that the world is being messed up. Just so many fantastic concepts, and a lot of it's similar to stuff that we've seen before from James Gunn, found family, the pet sidekick, the family affair. And yet I'm not bored. James Gunn doesn't miss. I swear his time is coming up. Like, surely you can't make this many bangers back to back without, maybe he's feeding his soul to some ungodly entity or something like that. But genuinely, I don't know how he does it. He's incredible. And here's my question for you, John.
Yes.
How do you feel about the decision to have this be one of the only holdovers from the DCEU to the DCU? It's pretty much this show, Blue Beetle, the character, not the film, weirdly, and a couple of other things. Like, what's your take on that?
I'm happy with it. I'm happy that this show gets to be continued in the DCU because I feel like there is endless possibilities that I could think of that's going to go with this. Like, it's stupid, it's goofy, and I think that would sort of fit in the DCU because what the DCU would need is that variety of all the things that are happening in this world. Like, this is a dark comedy, but also we have Superman, which is so full of hope and so... And also, what's also exciting is that if there are shows like Peacemaker, letting other creatives go into parts like this, it's going for a more creative approach and seeing how they're going to tackle storytelling in different formats, which I'm there for. Animation, TV, film, I'm there for. Media audiobooks, I'm deaf, but yeah. What about you, Tom?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I want to listen to any audiobooks from DC.
I'm just saying that's a possibility, but...
No, it definitely is. I mean, hey, like, if you tell me that David Corenswet has done an audiobook of that Superman book,
yes,
I'd be interested. I can't lie. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued about Creature Commandos as well, which we will cover whenever season 2 comes up. I swear to God, if Peacemaker season 2 doesn't come to the UK, just like Creature Commandos, James Gunn, we're going to have words. Me and you.
I think we have
outside.
to fly over to someplace in America.
Gonna
Utah.
have to do it.
California.
Gonna go to Utah. Why?
Minnesota.
We could go to
Texas.
We're gonna
I'm just naming all these places.
State stop tour of America. I think that, like, I agree. The variety is important. I hate seeing stories cut short.
Yes.
It sucks we never got Zack Snyder's Justice League continuation. It sucks we never saw Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind with Shazam.
Dr. Fate?
No, the little caterpillar thing from Shazam.
Oh.
Batgirl. It sucks we never saw Batgirl. Like, there's a bunch of stuff from DC that has been cut short, and I hate that oh my God, my stomach is going right now. Can you hear that?
No.
No, that's fine.
You're asking a deaf person, by the way.
So I do want to see the story continue, and season 2 I'm interested in. But if season 1 can surprise me so much, can make me say, why this guy? And now I'm like, hell yeah, season 2. It's definitely a good sign. What are you going to give? Oh, wait, we didn't even say any criticism. Weirdly, my criticism is something that I don't say a lot about TV shows, but I maybe would have wanted it to be a little bit shorter. Not necessarily the narrative, but, some of the dialogue does go on. I wasn't necessarily always like, I want to name more people John Cena. I was a little bit like, all right, funny,
Okay.
and then we move on.
Yeah,
I digress.
especially with Vigilante, because he does kind of tend to ruin some emotional spots.
Exactly. Like when Peacemaker murders his father, and the Vigilante's like, "Why are you doing your face exercise?"
Why are you crying, dude?
Yeah, it's not always the moment for it, but really, it doesn't massively diminish the enjoyment of the show. What are you gonna give it out of 10?
8 out of 10 from me.
I'm also going to 8 out of 10 from me too. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. Next week, we're doing Life of Chuck.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Mike Flanagan, Stephen King. I've already seen it, so that's all I'll say.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm there for the existentialism. And you can follow us on Instagram at Out of Time Film Pod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain Afzal, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Jones-Meyer for the excellent theme, and Ronan Phillips for vocals as always. And I think that's everything. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.